Kwe, Nil Deliwis, Patricia Saulis, Nojeau Nagutguk. I'm from Tobic First Nation, and I am Melisit Wolistagwe. It is so wonderful to see everybody here today, and I welcome you into this space. And usually we start with a bit of an opening. And so I'm actually going to offer a song, the Mother Earth song, and I will share that with you now. Gachi Gel was it Gil Gachi Gel was it Gil Skif Gamik Dot Mikuk Psira Gil Away, hey, ha, away, hey, 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 away, hey, ha, away, hey, hey, still there, no, miss, Still there, no, Miss Nook, you will, skit, gamik, dot, me cook, see the gill, away, hey, ha, away, hey, hey, away, hey, ha, away, hey. Wiliwan Giziolinik, Wiliwan Musum Sinuk, Wiliwan Nokma Sinuk. Thank you, Creator, for giving us our lives. Wiliwan, thank you to our grandmothers and grandfathers who will come to be with us in this space and provide us the understanding and the encouragement and the love and the support to be able to speak from not only our minds but our hearts. Wiliwan. So everybody knows that we have been undertaking these full moon gatherings, and the idea is that we are connected to the moon. Many of our indigenous cultures believe that the grandmother moon is our relative, is close to us, and because of the fact that she controls and influences all the waters on the earth, that includes the waters that are inside of us. And so when we're feeling that connected every full moon to Grandmother Moon, we are taking this time to acknowledge her and that connection as a way of understanding how we as humans on this planet are connected to the universe. We are connected to everything around us, to each other, to all the life that is on this planet. And so in offering this acknowledgement, in providing this space for you to bring forward your reflections and really your heartfelt, spirit-felt input into our discussions, you are also honoring our Grandmother Moon. So I say, Wiliwan, thank you very much for taking this time out of your day, out of your life, to be able to come together with us and to offer that wisdom and guidance that has come through you from our grandmother, the moon. So I'll turn it back to Mary Kate. Wiliwan.
Thank you, Patricia, and thank you for opening us in such a beautiful way. I want to welcome everyone today, and I wanted to create a little bit of context around this group, the RAD Network, which stands for Restore, Assert, Defend. We've come together, and really all of you are part of this network as you're here. We're all in this together and trying to create something together that is about bringing abundance to Indigenous-led conservation work that's happening in whatever form that might be. So, and the purpose of us coming together for these full moons, as Patricia said, is just to start to know each other and to start to be in relationship with each other so that we can think about and co-create the solutions that each of us are seeing and regionally create what is needed across all of Turtle Island. So maybe I'll hand it back to you, Patricia, just to set the context of the visioning and the gathering that's coming forwards, and that really that is starting here today.
Well, Ewan, Mary, Kate, and yes, so as some may know, there is a visioning session that is coming up with some folks in our Wolastoqey Maliseet territory in Sedonsisk, which is otherwise known as Fredericton, New Brunswick. And we will be welcoming in people that are seeking to collaborate and co-create a vision of and for the RAD Network. And so we are fashioning our gathering along the lines of a ceremony. So we will have a sacred fire, we will be having feasts, we will be doing offerings. We will also be taking the time for reflection, self-reflection during the gathering so that we can help each other understand what are the needs, what are the ways in which our people, our communities, our environment needs to be helped, needs to be aided at this critical time. I know we've all seen in the past few weeks just how incredibly urgent it is that we take action on behalf of the planet. There have been reports, and most recently, I believe it was, less than a month ago, another report from the UN just describing how desperate a situation it is for our climate and the loss of biodiversity. So it's incumbent, it's urgent that we take up our responsibilities and look forward, look to a way that we can not only come together, but act together, help transform together. And so the visioning is meant to bring voices together, bring hearts together, minds together, spirits together. And we are going to do that in such a way that honors some of our cultural practices, as well as honoring each and every person who is coming into that circle to help us do that. And so it's an exciting time. We're really looking forward to hosting everyone that'll be coming in. And I really hope that those who, may not be coming in and you still have ideas and other types of thoughts that could help us do this work that we need to do, that you could share that, by writing in. We're going to provide the email address. Potentially we're looking at creating a Google Doc so that everybody's input, everybody's thought and heartfelt intention for this work can be put into that and really help us form that vision for our network.
Thank you. We're going to just look back a little bit to what happened in the last full moon gathering that we did, where we were really holding the space around what does it look like to bring spirit and ceremony into Indigenous-led conservation financing. And we have provided a newsletter back to everyone. So we'll just put that into the chat. If anyone hasn't got a copy of that, because sometimes some of these go into junk or don't make it through to us. So we also wanted to make sure that everyone had that link here, so that you're able to read through the work that has happened previously. And just in looking at that, we had a great discussion, and we really could find that there were elements of around spirit and ceremony in every part of the work that we're doing. And it was so clear that the work that is happening must be led by spirit, and that it is spirit-led work that we are bringing forwards. So we could take that one down and then put up the slide for this month's topic. This is what we're looking at today. So we're really asking the question, how do we ensure space to build a shared vision of Indigenous-led conservation economy?
So I think in terms of understanding where, to come from around visioning, there are so many layers, there are so many elements to that for me. And while some, have experienced visioning as part of a corporate exercise, how do we establish our vision, our objectives, our goals, our mission, that the visioning that we're talking about would be related to that, but not necessarily so academic, so corporate. Visioning is meant to be a personal experience that is brought forward from spirit and the experience of that, and leaning into and leading into a wisdom and an understanding that a person might not otherwise have if it wasn't for taking that time, creating that space where people will allow themselves to be able to become attuned to spirit, to speak to what it is they're seeing and they're understanding as the way forward, as a pathway, and that this is really a journey that we are on. And many have referenced this saying that we are spirits on a human journey. And I believe that. I believe that we come from the universe, that we have taken our place here at this point in time, in this place, that each and every one of us has gifts to share and awareness and other attributes that we can share with each other to make this time together enjoyable and happy. And so visioning creates an opportunity for us to speak to those things in a way that maybe perhaps we typically don't get to. And so it is considered sacred. It is considered a very special opportunity for each and every person. And so I think I'd like to leave it at that.
Terry?
Thank you, and really enjoyed the discussion we had in the room. Wow, just amongst some really good thinkers, great thinkers of today. And when I think about full moon ceremonies from a Nuu-chah-nulth perspective, what we do here is we bathe in cold water in a ceremony called usmich, and most families as the moon gets larger, that's when you ask for things you want in your life, things that you want And then when the moon gets smaller, not every family does that. My family does it. We're known as prayer warriors. When the moon gets smaller, that's when we ask for things that you don't want in your life. So it's, I'm just very grateful to be a part of this. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. Ukla Sicha. My name is Sicha, which means one who swims around in the water. I'm from Tlaoquit First Nations, which is part of the New Channels Confederation. I work here at Nowasum Gardens, which is formerly Tofino Botanical Gardens. We've started one of the first Indigenous protected conserved areas, innovation centers. We're a tool for leadership, Indigenous leadership in universities to have a dialogue and understanding and just come together and learn more about IPCAs, and which is really, a decolonized way at looking at what we're talking about here, the economy, conservation, through the lens of Indigenous elders and experts. So again, thank you for allowing me to speak. Shoot.
Thank you. Thanks, Terry. And Trish, do you want to say a few words? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, this has been a really good week. My mother's family is originally Haudenosaunee from the Grand River in Ontario. And we just started taking Mohawk language classes for the first time. So my son and I are taking them, and it's just very spiritual and very connecting. And for us, we don't really do full moon, but this is the time of the thunderers. So we're looking forward to like the thunder coming back and the spring rains and all that brings to us. And I, just like Terry, I really enjoyed the conversation today. It's all about relationship building, and I feel like this is such a great group and that we have so many important things to do. And I look forward to the end of April and meeting a lot of you in person. So thanks, Mary Kate.
This is one of the streams of the CRP. CRP is a broader network of partners that are committed to supporting Indigenous leadership and conservation. And the conservation financing stream has been working for over a year, looking at best practices, case studies, opportunities and challenges in every jurisdiction in Canada. Most of that work is done now, and looking very much forward to sharing that with everybody in Fredericton and seeing the reaction. And these are tools that will go into the CRP knowledge basket that will be available to all Indigenous nations that are advancing IPCAs and their allies for free. And these, the knowledge basket is one of 3 legacy projects that the CRP is working on creating to go on past the life of the CRP, which was a 7-year SSHRC-funded research project on conservation through reconciliation partnership. The other 2 are IPCA innovation centers. A lot of the work we do will be housed in that area as well, in those centers as they are created across the country. We have one already in Tofino, and Terry's intimately involved in that. And the other is the other legacy project is an IPCA network or alliance of some sort that can support Indigenous nations in advancing, managing, governing, operating their IPCAs. And the network can work as the best practices, best ways of getting things done within IPCAs. obviously, the work we're doing is how to support those nations through the financing of IPCAs using the emerging carbon and other nature-based solutions marketplace. And how do we, what's the challenges and opportunities? Identifying those would be key to the work of the CRP for sure, and also to inform how we engage with provinces and territories and the federal government of what's needed to support nations that are advancing IPCAs. This is the road to 30%. And in a lot of ways, we represent the 580, the 5% indigenous peoples around the world, and that have 80% of the remaining biodiversity. Drawing on that value systems and knowledge systems is not only key for indigenous nations and their IPCAs, but it's key for human survival on Earth. Nature is the 1/3 solution, and what we're doing is supporting nature and providing that 1/3 solution. Being based in the northern hemisphere in a democratic country like Canada, I think we can provide a lot of leadership in the ways these nature-based solutions are created. Once we share the information we've gathered today, we've been creating the vision for what work we're going to be doing into the next 3 years as we finish off the CRP 7-year mandate. One of my hopes is that we could try to introduce another verification requirement for these projects based on our experiences. And that's how do you not only do you verify the carbon sinks and sequestration rate, biodiversity and its volumes and valuations. There's a peripheral value added to how well people are doing in there, and I'm thinking that should be part of the verification as well, not just a peripheral one. The social justice of the peoples whose lands are being utilized to provide a 1/3 solution to climate change should be elevated, especially if they represent the 580 Club, if you will. So, I think we can not only create the conditions for success for IPCAs and nature-based solutions here in Canada, but create it in a way that it can provide global leadership. At the end of the day, if we can eliminate carbon cowboys from the equation, then that gives more value to the land and the people of that land. And obviously, the ability for those people to utilize their value systems and knowledge systems unencumbered by provincial, federal, territorial, or state governments is going to be good for everybody. And obviously the 580 would all agree that there's one connection and one commonality, is that spiritual relationship with their territories. And highlighting that relationship through the work we do is a form of reconciliation for sure.